Hello students, welcome back. As I have already told you that it is always better to learn anything related to accounting and finance by actually doing it. So in the previous two videos we have talked about how to do the worksheet, how worksheet looked like, and what are the steps in preparing the worksheet, right? So in this video we'll try to solve a worksheet related problem step by step so that you will get a better idea about how to solve the worksheet or prepare a worksheet by yourself. Okay, so as you can see, we will try to solve or prepare the worksheet for this particular problem, which you can see here. So here we can see that we are given a trial balance. Okay, so actually it is not a worksheet, it is actually a trial balance. We are given a trial balance here for the month ended March 31, 2020. But the month ended means that this company follows a 1 month accounting period. Okay, so for this 1 month accounting period, they have prepared this trial balance for the month of March, at the end of the month of March. Okay, and after that we are also given some of the data related to the adjustment or adjusting entries. Okay, we have been given the data about supplies, depreciation, unearned revenue, accrued salaries. So we'll do it. What we can do here is that I hope you can remember that the first step of adjustment entries were the trial balance. The first two column, numerical column, is for the trial balance. So here what I have done, I have just picked the trial balance here, from here to there. Okay, it's nothing, right? You just have to input the value exactly the way it is given in the trial balance. So this is actually the simplest step of all in the worksheet. Okay, so the first step is done. We have successfully inputted our values to the trial balance column. Okay, so here you can see that we have also calculated the total, and it should be same, right? 23,500. It should also be 23,500. So don't make mistake here. Just in inputting, you don't have to think about anything. You just have to input whatever you have got from the trial balance directly here. Now the next part, the adjustment. This part. In this part, we have to input the adjusting entries. Okay. So here we are given some data, other data related to adjusting entry. So we will not prepare the adjusting entry in a separate journal book or something like that. Here we can do it on the worksheet itself. So let's start. How can I do it? Okay. First of all, the first one. A physical count reveals only 480 of roofing supplies on hand. That means they have some sort of supplies. Okay. Here they have some supplies. So, but at the end of the month, the accountant or other party people found out that there is only $480 of supplies left, which means we have used some of the supplies. Okay, so for that we have to record or we have to prepare adjusting entries. So what will be the adjusting entries? Whenever we use some supplies, as you can recall, right? Supplies expenses debit, right? And supplies is credit. Okay, so why we are writing the supplies expense here? Very simple, because the supplies expense account did not exist in the trial balance. So we will have a space here. So if any new account needs to be created, we will write it here. As simple as that. Okay, so we have written supplies expense here. So what should be the value of our supplies expense, or how much supply should be recorded as an expense? Very easy, right? How much supplies we had previously? We had only 2,000 supplies. Right now we have only $480 of supplies. So previously it was 2,000 and now it is 480. That means we have used the supplies of this particular amount. So the supplies was previously 2000, now it is 480. That means in the meantime or during the month we have used supplies of 1520 or 1520. So supplies expense should be debit 1520. Okay, and supplies expense debit for the same amount. Supplies will also be created. So supplies, this is the debit column and this is the credit column. So where should I write it? Very simple. I have to look for the supplies account. Here there is a supplies account here. So I have to create the 1520 amount here in the adjustment entry column and in the credit side. Okay, so we don't have to prepare the journal book here. We can just do the adjusting entries here in this two column. Okay, so the first one is done. Now move on to the second one. Depreciation for March is 250. Depreciation for March is 250. Very simple. We are doing the calculation for the month of March, and the depreciation for the month of March is 250 already given. So what should we do? What is the journal or adjusting entry for depreciation expense? You guessed it right. Depreciation expense debit and accumulated depreciation of that particular asset credit. Very simple. Can you find any depreciation expense here? No. So again, we have to create a new account named depreciation expense, and depreciation expense account has been created here, and this account is should be debited by 250. Okay, the value is 250, the depreciation for the month of March. Depreciation expense will be in the debit side, 250 debit, and whenever depreciation expense debit, accumulated depreciation is created. Okay, so in this particular problem there is only one type of asset, which is equipment, and there is only one type of accumulated depreciation, that is accumulated depreciation for the equipment. So we will credit that account. So we'll write the 250 in the credit side too. For equal amount of debit, there should be an equal amount of credit. So 250 depreciation expense debit, 250 accumulated depreciation of equipment credit. So number 2 is also done. Okay, very simple. Then we move to the number 3. Unearned service revenue amounted to $260 at March 31. That means at the end of March, they had actually unearned revenue of total $260. Okay, so what do you mean by that? Our trial balance is showing that we have unearned service revenue of 550, but actually at the end of March we have 260. Why? Because this is the unadjusted balance. The trial balance is normal trial balance is the unadjusted one, and the actual value of unearned revenue should be 260. Okay, why? How it can become 260 from 550? Very simple. Because this company has provided some services, and that's why its liability of unearned revenue got decreased. Okay, so we have to prepare an adjusting entries for unearned revenue earned. Okay, so why the unearned revenue has decreased? Because of the some of the unearned revenue we have earned. But how much unearned revenue we have earned? Think carefully. Previously the unearned revenue was 550, or you can write it like for your help, 550, and now it has become 260. The old one, the new one. or the previous one and the decreased one. So if I deduct 260 from 550, I'll get 290, and this 290 means that this 290 of the unearned revenue in this particular month we have earned, or the company has earned. Okay, so service revenue, from chapter 3, that's the journal or adjusting entries for unearned revenue earned is that service revenue credit and unearned service revenue debit by the same amount. So we will debit it by 290 and service revenue credit by 290. So again, we have prepared the adjusting entry for the third adjusting entry data in the worksheet. Okay, service revenue credit by 290, unearned service revenue debit by 290. Then the last one, accrued salaries are 700. That means 700 salary has been accrued, and this salary expense has not been paid. So that's called accrued salaries or accrued expense. Okay, and that's a very simple one. Whenever some salaries or some expenses accrued, expense account is debited and payable account is created. Okay, so what type of expense it is? This is salaries and wages expense. Should I write it here? No, because salaries and wages expense is already here. Okay, so we have to debit the salaries and wages expense. So this is the debit sign again. So we'll just write $700 here in this salaries and wages expense row. Okay, $700 salaries and wages expense, and since it is accrued and we haven't paid it, so we have to credit salaries and wages payable. But do we have any account named salaries and wages payable here? No. So we have to create one. Salaries and wages payable. The same amount, 700. So here you can see that we have successfully recorded all the adjusting entries into this 2 column. Okay, and for equal amount of debit we have ensured that we do the equal amount of credit. So now at the end of adjusting entry, we have to find about whether our debit side and credit side are equal or not. This one is the credit side, 2760. This one for the debit side. Exactly, 2760 to 2760. The total of two sides is the same. It is 2760. Okay. So in this video, we will not finish all the component here. We'll do it step by step to keep the video short. So in the next video, I'll return and I'll try to fill up this 2 column step by step. Okay. So hope to see you soon in the next video. Thank you all for your patience.